is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have some Detroit Lions news. The Lions have picked up the fifth-year option for center Frank Ragnow. So let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome, everybody, to a video. Glad you guys are here. But I will have my predictive mock draft coming out soon. And then, of course, we'll be live at Delmar in Detroit tonight for the draft party. So make sure you guys check it out. You know, go check out their social media links. And then, of course, I'll be live there as well. So make sure you guys go check all that out. It's going to be pretty darn awesome. I'm super excited. But we have some Detroit Lions news first. And this is about Frank Ragnow getting his fifth-year exercised. Now, here's the deal with Frank Ragnow. Frank Ragnow is coming off of his rookie deal. Okay, this was the last year of his contract. So he was set to hit free agency next season. We know in the past, like Jared Davis, the Detroit Lions did not pick up his fifth-year option. Well, he did here with Frank Ragnow. That's going to be a little bit pricey. Okay, a contract that's been about 4 years, $12 million in total for his rookie deal is now a $12.5 million cap hit for 2022, and that is all guaranteed. It's definitely going to cost the Lions some money, and he's pretty much locked into that fifth-year option. However, you can expect the Detroit Lions will try to figure out how to give him an extension. This one seemed like a no-brainer that we were going to bring back Frank Ragnow. I mean, you couldn't let Frank Ragnow walk. What's really cool is that the Detroit Lions' new regime would exercise this fifth-year option without even seeing him play a snap on the field in person. I mean, they haven't even played with him yet. Now, the deadline was May 3rd, or is May 3rd, I should say. So, I mean, they had to make that decision. But it does speak a lot of volumes to Frank Ragnow and how they feel about him going forward with this team. And he is kind of like, you know, kind of like the glue of that offense. I mean, to be honest, the center does so much and communication, all that stuff. So he is kind of the glue of the offensive line, and the Lions are kind of building out from there. Becker also is locked up too. So I love it. Now, when you look at the Detroit Lions set to hit free agency in 2022, you look at some of the biggest names there. Of course, you have all of the guys that we signed to winter deals, but some of the biggest names there for the Detroit Lions that could get big contracts, there's not a ton of them. I mean, you take a look at Tracy Walker, Kerryon Johnson, Jack Fox, Terrell Crosby, Deshaun Hand. I mean, Crosby could get some money for sure. Tracy Walker could for sure. But I mean, there's not a lot of big expensive contracts probably coming up from the Detroit Lions, at least in terms of returning players coming off of their rookie deal. Serves as a cap hit for the Detroit Lions for 2022. Doesn't affect us now, but for 2022, we go from having about $48 million in cap space to about $36 million in cap space. And of course, it's so far out. I mean, things are going to change between now and then, but this was something the Lions had to do. You know, last season, he was dealing with the fractured throat, which was really strange. Like, he played through the game with it. He didn't finish the season. He missed 2 games like that, but he played through 1 game with it, and he couldn't even talk. I mean, this dude, I mean, you want to talk about playing through things, okay, being a very tough, dependable player. Frank Ragnow checks that box. He's been one of the best centers in the league, and last season, he was just incredible. He was absolutely incredible last season when he was on the field. Didn't allow a single sack. He grades out as one of the highest centers in the league. So, yeah, this was one of the Lions' better first-round picks, that's for sure. Frank Ragnow has been really good for Detroit. So, this made a lot of sense. I mean, you absolutely had to do something like that. I mean, you couldn't let this guy hit free agency. Come on, man. You couldn't do that. The fifth-year option is always expensive. How they calculate it. For a guy like Frank Ragnow, who is a first-round pick, he wasn't a top 10 pick, which makes it usually slightly less. But basically, it's calculated for him as they take the 3rd highest to the 25th highest at the center position in terms of salary, and they take the average. Honestly, it's not that bad. You know, if you think about it, I think the average of that's not that bad when you compare where he ranks amongst centers in the league as one of the top. But if Frank Ragnow would have hit free agency, you know, after this next season, then he would have probably been getting paid like one of the top centers in the league. You take into consideration his age and how well he's played for Detroit as one of the top centers in the league, this was a no-brainer that Frank Ragnow was back in Detroit next season. So I do want to talk a little bit about the behind-the-scenes of the draft room video the Detroit Lions put out. So I just got done watching that video. That was a great video. Go check it out if you guys have not. Thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate it yesterday. But I just got done watching that, and I took a couple of notes. But I thought what was important from this is that, okay, I was starting to key in on like what positions are they talking about, things like that. However, I think what's important is that, you know, they looked at every position. I mean, they didn't just say, okay, well, we're not going to look at safety this year. Like, no, they looked at every position. They probably talked about every position. But they get to pick and choose what they show us. So I'm just saying, it's not to say that, you know, they're trying to throw everybody off or anything like that. But, you know, they get to choose. So if they want to keep bringing up the certain positional group and making us think, oh, this is where the Lions are going, It may not be where the Lions are going, but I'm sure they've talked about every position. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, what did they talk about? Well, number one, I heard running back a few times. I definitely heard them bring up running back. One guy said he likes a certain player. I don't know who these guys were. The other one said he's a little bit more of a weaver than a physical runner. So we definitely heard running back a few times. We know about the Detroit Lions meeting with the Michigan running back. I cannot think of his name right now. Chris Evans. So running back could be on the table. It's tough for me to imagine running back when you only have 6 draft picks. But of course, they could also be discussing UDFA potential as well. Any of these guys could hit UDFA. Then they brought up cornerback. Definitely heard them bring up cornerback. One guy said he is a tough, couple bad words. So I'm just going to leave it right there. Just leave it right there. Thought this was interesting. Ragnow said that he was so excited to have a first-round pick, and so did Brad Holmes, that they were going to be able to make a selection in the first round. So there you go. There's some insight. The Lions will not be trading out of the first round. At least I don't think. It doesn't sound like it. So we know it's not a punter. We know it's not a kicker. We know it's not a long snapper, and they're not going to trade out the first round. I guess that tells us all we need to know. I still don't know who they're drafting. Somebody said that this prospect looks like the mountain guy from Game of Thrones. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I looked up the mountain guy from Game of Thrones, okay? And I'm not sure who looks like that. I was honestly thinking Frank Ragnow a little bit. Like, Ragnow, I mean, is that why they picked up his 5th-year option? Hold up. I don't know. It kind of looks like a tackle, the way he's built. I mean, I'm not sure if I've seen someone like that. I don't know who he's talking about. Who do you guys think that is? I'm thinking it's tackle, but I have no idea. Did bring up multiple times the intangibles, character, you know, the type of guy that you want to have in your locker room. Big thing to keep an eye on when it comes draft night. And of course, we all know who we're talking about. We're talking about Micah Parsons in the first round.
You know, the first year, Mike didn't even know what he was doing. He was just on the field. That's why we started calling him the water boy, because he go out there, he'll tackle his teammates and the other team.
So, you know, the big thing to take a look at when the Lions go through this draft, what kind of players they are drafting. We know Dorsey in the past have brought in guys with some off-the-field concerns, but what are the Lions feeling about that? Are they going to stay away from any of that? It definitely could be. So I thought I would bring that up. Another guy brought up a player's competition he was going against was bad, but he was still crushing the pocket, which makes me think of an edge, maybe a defensive tackle, maybe a linebacker, but it was bad competition. So maybe a smaller school pass rusher, something like that. That's kind of what I was thinking. Is that Ellerson Smith? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff together. But either way, like I said, they get to pick and choose what they have us here and what they have us hear them talk about. Dan Campbell, I love this. I love this clip. I'm just gonna throw this in there.
You gotta hug this guy before every game for him to play that way. I'll hug the shit out of him.
That's awesome. I mean,
and they all love Dan Campbell. They all love this guy. I mean, they speak so highly of him. John Dorsey really likes him as well. They all like Dan Campbell, and they like Brad Holmes as well. They said Brad Holmes very collaborative, but Dan Campbell, you know, he's just. What do they use? I think they use genuine. I mean, that's just kind of how he is. We see it every time they do a video. He's the same guy. He's just him. Now, they did put a lot of emphasis on the Senior Bowl, and they put a lot of emphasis on the Pro Day. Don't know if that's, you know, how much they take that into account, you know, when they take a look at these prospects. One guy brought up at one point that, hey, he opted out of 2020, so we liked this tape 2 years ago, though. So a lot of people brought the emphasis on the film, but also specifically emphasis on, you know, the Pro Day and the Senior Bowl. So those two things. And the scout said the first thing that he looks at is athletic ability. I thought that was interesting. That's the first thing that he sees that pops off the screen to him. And I like his way of doing it, not looking at anything and just watching the player's film. Unfortunately for us, there's so much social media, it's difficult to not see rankings and things like that and then get an automatic perception of where a guy should be ranked. So it's difficult to stay away from that. But that's something I'm definitely going to try to do better at next season, is just try to really stay away from any of the social media stuff and just watch the players first. And then just kind of rank players and then just see how it compares to other people. But I think that would be, you know, a way better way to, you know, really just have your own opinions and form your own opinions. Because once you start seeing all this other stuff, man, you just kind of you start forgetting what you even thought, and then you start putting what other people think. Finally, they brought up receiver as well, saying one guy was good as a return man. I'm assuming that was receiver. They brought up receiver a few times. One man said he was, you know, tall, athletic, and he can run. I'm thinking receiver. I'm thinking, I don't know. And then finally, the biggest question, Dan Campbell, what's in that can, Dan? What is that? Is that watermelon? What? You're drinking watermelon? Come on, Dan. Hold up. Actually, watermelon ain't that bad. It actually can be bad. If it's like carbonated, but it could be good. I don't know. I'm trying to look, because that could be that American ice that I'd be drinking on game days. I'm just seeing, Dan. Did you take that from me? You saw me drink that on stream and you're like, oh, I gotta get. I'm gonna end it here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, Prep, for watching. And I'm out.